Hello everyone, can you hear me and see me? Hello, can you hear and see me? You cannot hear me, not yet. Hold on. You can, got you. Okay. Let's wait a moment. Hello everyone. Okay, 8 o'clock. Hello everyone. Let's get started. Today, honestly, I didn't prepare anything. So let's try to get into a discussion about questions you have, and I will try to elaborate my thinking over your questions. I received on Twitter from a guy called, or a woman I think, called Crypto Beginner. Her handle is CryptoBitch7. 3 questions. Is she here? I don't know. She didn't tell me her handle on YouTube. She wanted to know from me an explanation about a tweet from David Schwartz, but I don't know which tweet she's referring to. She wanted to know about the purpose of multi-hop and how it does contribute, and why the price of XRP doesn't increase even though banks are using XRP. So, CryptoBitch, if you're here, you need to tell me which tweet about David Schwartz you want to get a comment from me. Now, regarding multi-hop. Multi-hop is a feature actually from RippleNet and ILP. Basically, it allows an X-current user, and as most of you know, I would say 95% of the banks signed up to RippleNet we know today, they're using X-current. But with multi-hop they can connect to an institution who is using X-rapid. Okay, so anyway, if they're just using X-current, X-rapid may get involved, because usually it will deliver lower fees, and in that respect we can kind of be sure that a big part of the X-current users, customers, will actually involve XRP in their transactions. The last question was regarding why XRP price isn't rising yet even though banks are using. Well, at the current price, the problem is still liquidity. At the current price level, low value, high volume payments are possible, according to a tweet from David Schwartz. And those of you who follow me for some longer time know my older videos where I try to elaborate on what price XRP may require or reach. And I looked at it from different angles. I did different calculations. One was the Shane Ellis theory with the buy and sell walls. There we had, if I remember properly, sell walls on $10,000 and $20,000. That was one angle. Another angle was my most viewed video about market mechanics, where I basically explain at which price and which dominance level regarding Swift, at what price the market would be dry, with two factors involved: that we would sell XRP if it's required for a transaction, but that we also want to make a profit. And one other perspective was the XRP balance calculator. That web page is not available anymore. I even sent, I think Susan Ethy or something is her name, from, like, she's in the board from Ripple. She and the student, I think, from the university where she's professor, did that theory around cryptocurrency price evaluation, and they produced this XRP balance calculator. And there, if I fed it with the same figures as for my other theories, it came to the same price as well. But my most favorite price calculation is actually the most easy one for everyone to understand. When David Schwartz tells that at current price, let's say way below $1, low value, high volume is fine, then we can think of what is low value. Let's assume it's 10,000 Swiss francs. Now, what's high value transaction? In one of my videos regarding target 2 transactions in Europe, I could basically prove that every, I think, 5 seconds or even 4 seconds, at least a 50 million payment is going through the system. Could be every 15 seconds 100 million, or every 30 seconds 200 million payment. So there, the value of payments can go quite high. That was basically the proof of that video. Now, if we take the lowest value, this 50 million, and divide it by the 10,000, we get a factor of 5,000. When we apply that to the current price, we end up roughly around $1,500, and that would be the minimum price required for banks to be able to make such high transactions. And because the price isn't there yet, banks cannot use it yet for their, it's basically a chicken and egg problem. Who comes first? Okay, so far for the questions from that crypto bitch. Now to your questions. I start with then B. My background is IT. I have a bachelor degree in business IT. I started studying when I was around 20, but I stopped and I gave it a second attempt. I started in 2010 and graduated in 2014. I work for about 25 years, mostly in IT, and I think I have quite a good logic. Phil D, yes, 10,000. I mean, I don't say when 10,000 will happen per XRP, but I'm pretty sure it'll happen. And that article, which has been discussed recently on Twitter and on other sites, that XRP was built to achieve $10,000, it's pure crap. There is no XRP. Theoretically has no limits in price. I could imagine it go to 100,000 in the next 7 years. It's literally the only thing which will decide the price is market dynamics, and that's the point which 99% of the YouTubers and Twitterers forget. Okay, we cannot look at the total market supply and volume. We can only look at the supply and volume at a particular exchange when we are talking X-Rapid. In the future, when we are talking ILP, maybe towards the end of the year or starting next year, when the whole thing will be more open and move to ILP, then most likely it'll be exchanges which take the role of ILP connectors, and basically they will offer the prices they have on their order books. Marieke, about the JPM coin. Okay, now I see the question. Basically, David Schwartz stated that the JPM coin is a fiat-pegged coin, and that doesn't help anything, because there anyway needs to be kind of an exchange of fiat. I mean, in the end, a bank or another institution doing a transaction, they cannot do anything with crypto tokens only. They will receive fiat from the person who is sending the money, and the recipient wants to receive fiat as well. And for that reason, any fiat-pegged token is kind of doomed to fail, because it's pegged to fiat, and it needs to decouple. That was one of the arguments from David Schwartz. And the other one is, also other people stated that whom will buy a JPM coin, or which other bank wants to buy a JPM coin when they're not part of that consortium. I mean, that's the reason why other banks will come up with their own coins, which in the end will make the whole thing even more complicated, because we will have even more ledgers we need to connect via ILP. I hope that answers your question, Marieke. I will try to find that tweet again and put some information in the description once we're finished. Okay. Hold on, I need to start. V3 Veteran 75, I would call you. Yes, David Schwartz told RippleNet is not connected to ILP for another 12 months. However, I found a tweet from Arthur Britto, which was debunked from a guy, but I'm not 100% sure if this debunk was true. Basically, RippleNet uses like a pre-public version of ILP, and I'm assuming anyone, and Arthur Britto basically confirmed that in this forum. I will put that link there as well in the description, and he basically confirmed that anyone using the protocol can participate in RippleNet. Let me quickly make a note. David Schwartz tweet regarding JPM coin, and the other one, RippleNet ILP Arthur Britto comment. Okay. The timeline for 1500. I'm basically, I don't do timelines, but I think it'll be the next 6 months. That's next Tuesday. I am still bullish for the end of the year. I mean, even if this ILP thing may not take off the way I thought in another video, before David Schwartz basically gave his comment that RippleNet is not ILP compatible at the moment. Before that tweet from him, I still had the idea that, I mean, with, I don't know, 10% of all Swift traffic going through XRP will result in somewhere around 5,000, and I'm pretty sure we will reach that by the end of the year. JPM, Michi 123, JPM coin, I don't think there will be any effect on Ripple. However, coming back to this other coin stuff, there are people, and this is a question nobody could answer to me so far, there are people believing that you even need XRP in order to be able to connect to other cryptos. I think that's not true, because the very nature of a crypto is decentralization. So basically, I can have an account on an exchange in Switzerland and in an account on an exchange in US, and I can send from my wallet money to either exchange and sell it into Swiss francs or into US dollars. So this point I don't really see, but maybe I'm wrong. Could be that there will be only a few specific connectors in the future. Let's say it could be that most connectors will connect with XRP anyway. So basically you go from Ethereum first into XRP, and from XRP then into Bitcoin or whatever other token. That may well be the case. That I don't know. Okay. Let me check for other question. Gaurav Agrawal, yes, I'm pretty sure SBI will give us a boost next month, if they go live next month. I am not so sure that when they say March, could be end of March, which basically then would mean we would see the price rise in April, but let's hope it's really somewhere early March, or at least in the middle of March. My expectation is, I mean, think about that. They bring potentially 23 million new customers aboard. And if just 10% of them, 2.5 million, are buying XRP, we will see a volume increase about tenfold of what we have now. It'll be like the volume we have seen end of 2017, where we went to the all-time high of, I don't know, $3 or something. And this I am expecting quite heavily. Yes, veteran, regarding their own coins and Quilton ILP, that's the point. No, well, you write ILP equals XRP. That's the question I couldn't have answered. I mean, in this presentation from Everest, the NTT data subsidiary, where they basically outline that picture for ILP, they have XRP in the center, but basically a connector can connect anything. It could be XLM, it could be any other fast and cheap coin, and connecting cryptos one with each other, I really don't see why it's needed. I can imagine that it's needed because there may be only connectors connecting crypto with XRP. Then XRP basically will be in the center of every transaction from any crypto to any other crypto. But this does not need to be an exchange. Bitstamp or Binance, they could create connectors and connect any two cryptos with each other because it's decentralized. So there I don't see, but I'm not looking for that as much. I am even not foreseeing a lot of movement going on from one crypto into the other. But as long as it's regarding fiat, there I completely agree with you, veteran. ILP equals XRP. Okay. If XRP leaps and then continues to grow exponentially, and at the same time US dollar progressively decreases in value, what will that mean for XRP? I honestly don't know, but I think the XRP price rise will be way steeper than the US dollar devaluation. Jafar, no, Ripple won't manipulate the price. That's the whole point of my theory. It'll be the market which decides. I recommend you go and watch my video. I think, I don't remember the number, but it has 589 in its title, and I think the title is called How XRP Can Reach 589. And in there I basically explain how that price rise will come, and with this theory I stick. I won't budge. If Galgitron's theory were or was true, that the price would slowly increase, why then we didn't see any price increase since XRapid is productively available since 1st of October? Nothing happened. As a matter of fact, the price went down more or less since then, and that's I don't see that happening. The market will decide on the price, and it'll go fast. It'll go in. That's still my theory. I'm 100% behind. It'll go within minutes. And another part of your question, Jafar, some people don't see the fact that money is not something static. Money is fluid. It flows through our society. I can go in the morning with 10 bucks and buy myself a haircut. Okay, right now I don't need it, but just as an example. An hour later, the hairdresser takes a taxi, goes to the city. He pays the taxi driver 9 bucks. The taxi driver goes and buys some gas for 8 bucks. The guy at the gas station buys some sandwiches for 7 bucks. Okay, the money is flowing. So basically, yes, there will be a one-time payout of us holders who have bought cheap. But once the price is high, it'll not matter anymore. When you buy an Amazon stock today and hold it for a year until it has risen, 15%, then you don't complain about the fact that you lost money compared to if you had bought it 10 years ago, because you make your 15% profit anyway. And that's also something what people don't get. And by the way, in one of my videos, maybe the one about the market mechanics with the number 23, I think it's in that one, I explain basically how much money would be paid out to the hodlers, to us retail investors, I am pretty sure from the XRP out there, really liquid, totally liquid, like guys who want to sell, it's maybe 5 billion. The rest stays with exchanges, with Ripple employees and stuff like that. And for an exchange, it doesn't matter in the end if they have to sell and buy XRP at the level of 5,000. They're happy if they make like 0.05% profit every time they buy and sell XRP. They don't need to make like we want to do 500,000 or 1,000,000% profit. That's something also most people don't understand. And now I remember what I also wanted to say. The current system costs about 1.7 trillion. I think I read I think it's even on the RippleNet PDF, the latest one from Ripple. They say that the current system costs about 1.7 trillion, and if you apply that now to 5 billion XRP, which are really liquid, I mean, you can imagine at which price we're getting basically a return on investment. Also, I mean, the banks, or the guys needing to buy our XRP when we sell it. It can go up to $500 or higher. And believe me, most guys will sell at $10, $20, $50 or $100. They will not have strong hands to wait until the price is really high. Got it. I'm really just XRP. Everything else is in my opinion not worth, especially not smart contracts. I really don't see how I would pay for a coin taking care of a smart contract. Benim, how much should we accumulate? It depends. I mean, the more you have, the less high the price needs to go. And as I want to get off work as fast as I can, I have accumulated quite a lot. So my target price to quit work would be reached at about $60 already, because I have that much XRP. Yes, Stephen Woodburn, 100, and OTF out. I don't know what OTF means. What will happen when most people sell at 100 US? Won't the price drop? Joseph, no. Shane Ellis' theory basically explains how the price will be kept stable with buy and sell walls. I always have to rethink how it works. A sell wall basically pushes the price down. Let's say the sell wall is at 5,000. If you want to sell your XRP, you have to sell it cheaper than 5,000, $4,999. A buy wall basically pushes the price up. If you have a buy wall at 5,000 and someone wants to buy XRP, he needs to offer $5,001 in order to be able to buy a smaller amount of XRP than the buy wall is actually offering, and that way there will be a balance and the price will be more or less quite stable. It will, as long as I remember properly regarding Shane Ellis, I think he basically proposed that the price will make jumps, but it will not increase like throughout 2 weeks or something. I give an example. It'll jump to $50, it'll stay there for a week or two, then it'll jump to $200, it'll stay there for a while, it'll jump to 500, 1,000, 2,000. but in between there will be like literally jumps. It will not increase steadily. It will literally be jumps. So no, it's not a stupid question, Joseph. There is no stupid question. If you don't understand, ask. That's why we're here today. Let me go on. Can XRP be used to pay someone in BTC? Right now, I am not aware of that. XRP Hammer, Bankai. But as soon as ILP will be a public available infrastructure, you will be able to pay your coffee at Starbucks with Apple stock, or with the door from your house. You buy 0.5% of you sell 0.5% of your house. Literally everything you can sell will be able to be used, because connectors will connect everything with everything, and basically you decide what you send and the receiver decides what he will receive, and the infrastructure ILP will take care of the rest. That's the future. And today I basically told a guy at work, I could even imagine that in the future we may not see currency exchange rates anymore, because there won't be a need to hold other fiat currency anymore, because the dollar will basically go back to US, Swiss franc will come back to Switzerland. There won't be any need anymore to hold, I mean, for speculation maybe, but not for payments. Today those foreign exchanges are used to fulfill the cross-border payments. Okay, that's a big part of the foreign exchange rates. I read an article recently which explained it quite neatly. Let's take the example: a car producer, a German car producer, let's say BMW, has a manufacturing site in Japan and needs to pay them yen, okay? But in Germany they only have euros, so basically they need to send the euros to the bank with the current system and have euros there, and then they exchange it to the yen and pay out the salaries of the workers in the manufacturing. That's how most of the FX today is used, and that's why we have currency exchange rates. But in the future with ILP, I see the role of currency exchange rates diminishing quite a lot. It will be basically just speculation, but not really. There won't be a use case anymore for buying fiat besides speculation. Today there is a use case to buy fiat. Joseph, don't worry. I mean, crypto XRP is a complicated thing. I recommend you watch my Christmas compilation movie. There I have provided a PDF with basically a summary of all my videos, which videos cover which topics, and I strongly recommend to watch those ones covering the Shane Ellis theory, market mechanics and liquidity requirements. CSC Bain, no, I don't think regulation is key to price rise. I really don't know. In my video about ILP, well, maybe until we are fully into ILP, could be the key. I don't know. I don't think so. But let's assume we were going towards ILP in the next 2 months. It's not like that, but let's assume it'll be like that. Then we would have lots of these connectors which connect XRP with euro, XRP with yen, XRP with dollars, and so on and so forth. And those connectors, the only thing they need to basically prove is that the exchange rate they will offer is a fair exchange rate. And even if they don't offer a fair exchange rate, because there most likely will be two connectors which offer dollar XRP exchange rates, you as a sender will always choose the cheaper one. Okay, I mean, why would you pay more to receive the same service? And so it'll be a competitive market, and those connectors, because the only thing they do is exchange money, they don't account for anything, they just exchange money, and they will be regulated quite simplistically. I don't know if that's formulated properly, but no, I don't think regulation is key. Jafar, where the money to cash us out comes from? Well, basically that was a question I had on a quite pertinent YouTube follower. He asks me, who will buy the XRP on the other side? And the answer, I made a video especially for that guy. And the simple answer is, I don't care. Because XRapid makes the buy and the sell part a done deal. So basically someone has to offer a buy and someone has to offer a sell. And only if the two parts are set up, the trade can be, or the payment can be executed. And in the role of the buyers, I see those future ILP connectors, because they will always require a lot of XRP in order to be able to make sure that all the transactions coming in can go through. Today, that typically those roles are called market taker and market maker. The market maker is usually the one who buys at any price. He doesn't really care that much about the current price, whereas the market taker usually only buys at the specific price. But the two of them, I even made a video with a very interesting link where this market taking and market making mechanism is explained. Without the two, a liquid market doesn't exist. So even in a stock market, there has to be buyers and sellers, and there has to be lots of them, and only when there is a lot of supply and demand, you can be guaranteed that if you want to buy 50 Apple stock, that you get them. That's the only way how those markets work, by market taking and by market making. And eventually there will be companies wanting to do that role. And by the way, in some of you who may have been following me with my videos with Darren Moore, together with him we basically figured that maybe those CLS banks in the current SWIFT system may have that role of the market making in the future, because those CLS banks are basically in the current system the banks which have enough cash, enough foreign exchange to make those correspondent banking payments or settlements actually work. And I could imagine quite well that they will take that role. Veteran backed and Fidelity, I really don't care. I'm not looking for speculation, I'm looking for use case. Okay, let me check for other questions. What do you think caused the big spike last September when it went up? That could have been a test. I really don't know. Great River, there have been other price spikes which went largely unnoticed on I think on the Tokyo exchange, but it was usually less than 1 XRP, but the price went in some of these cases quite high as well. I really don't know. It could be that they tested if this Shane Ellis theory eventually could work. Okay, now let me catch up. Minimum prediction. I don't do prediction. I think it can go to 5,000 by the end of the. It's not a prediction. I also thought it may, because the system, according to my most trusted source regarding RippleNet, he basically thinks that since the first week of November, when they tested a multi-signature account where the escrowed XRP would go in, and then at least 4 or 5 members from the global payment steering committee, like the steering committee for RippleNet, I think there are about 8 banks or institutions on that steering committee, and 4 or 5 would have to agree at which price and how many of those XRP could be sold and to whom could be sold. And for that they would need a multi-signature wallet, and that test obviously went successfully, and since then I'm waiting for a price increase. Why it doesn't happen, I don't know. Hold on. Okay, that I answered already. I don't have prediction. I just think. I will put in this live stream again the links to those videos I think most important. Liquidity, video, market mechanics, and Shane Ellis. On the Shane Ellis theory, I won't put the link from the deep dive. The deep dive is basically just debunking the counter arguments from Galgitron. Basically, he never really reacted to those. But one of the arguments against Shane Ellis' theory was arbitrage and slippage. Miguel Villas in 2 videos I came across basically confirmed that Ripple would cover the loss of the slippage, and arbitrage simply wouldn't happen. I mean, who would sell on one exchange XRP for $1, knowing that on another exchange he could get 500 or 5,000? I mean, that would happen exactly 1 second, and then everyone would stop his sell orders. Darren Malone, well, I think 5,000 can be possible by the end of this year. I think 10% of Swift's market, and with R3 and the Corda settler, I mean all those banks there, even if all those banks in that Corda whatever thingy, even if 10% of only those will use XRP for settlement, we will have almost 10% of Swift's volume already, and that for me basically would mean about 5,000. Now, is there any, how could you explain the reports from Asia that they're seeing 25 already? L. Cooper, I don't know. I haven't. Can you send me a link or something? Maybe in the comment of this video later on, to this report that Asia is seeing $25 already. I mean, for those who haven't been following me, I think it was before Christmas when this stupid, really stupid theories about private XRP ledgers have been popping up everywhere from Sam I Am and others. I mean, those theories were basically based on the fact that on some exchanges on the XRP charts website there had been seen quite some spikes, and I think one of the transactions being noticed somewhere had a price, I think it was around $488, but the amount of XRP sold or bought, I mean, it's always both. A seller can only sell if there is a buyer on the other side. That's also something most people forget. Okay, you cannot sell if no one is buying. Anyway, that trade was about $488, but it was like less than $0.50 of worth of value in that transaction. That's why it wasn't visible in the charts, because it was it didn't have an effect on the candles we see on the charts. Okay. Can someone please tell me how many people we have online? That I would be interested in. I will go back. And L. Cooper, when you provide me these reports regarding the $25 in Asia, I will give a comment on that. But I have hard time imagining that, exactly to the same reason I told regarding Shane Ellis arbitrage. I mean, who would buy XRP for $25 knowing he could get XRP for 30 cents? I mean, it's I wouldn't do that. Bullwinkle, J. Crypto, yes, that's basically regarding my super highway theory. I mean, the banks and institutions we know from Ripple, first of all, I'm pretty sure they don't tell us everything. Ripple themselves, I'm pretty sure they have more customers on RippleNet themselves than they tell us. They are not forced to tell us anything. They're not a public company, okay? It's like they just do us a favor of telling us how many and which institutions are on RippleNet. However, one of my first theories, basically where I started my research on the whole XRP, was this famous presentation slide from Ellis with ILP and XRP in the center. And then I figured that Ripple has since 2015 and 16 partnerships with many system integrators. Most of you know Temenos. Some of you may have heard of CGI, Task Group in Europe, Earthport. There's, I don't know, about at least 10 of those payment hub providers worldwide, and most of them have partnerships with Ripple since 2016. So you can be, sure that at least 5% of the customers from those big banks or big system integrators are on RippleNet as well. And if you just account for Temenos, Finastra with Fusion Global Pay Plus, CGI and Task Group, we're coming easily to about 60 to 70% of all banks worldwide which potentially are covered. And if you're now telling me that we're still only at the 11,000 banks, 10,000 would be 10%, that we're only about at 2% with a potential of 70%. I don't believe that, Bullwinkle. I really don't believe that. I stick to that, and I think we have on RippleNet or on this via this Corda settler mechanism. Those who are more fearful of that whole crypto thing may go via Corda, but either or, we by the end of the year will cover for sure 10% of the market. Joseph, no, actually, the price of XOP will be affected. No, let me rephrase that. Your question is, due to the sell and buy walls, price of XOP will not be affected. It's actually the other way around. The price will rise and then come the buy and sell walls into play. It's like that, and then the price will be kept stable on the high level. I hope you understood it now. Oh, there's more. Do you like Legos? What is this channel about? Okay. If 1% of Swift and 2% of Forex and 1% of SBI. A human thing to do, exactly. You nailed it. I mean, it's literally, I mean, in one of my videos regarding liquidity and market mechanics, I basically explained that one big bank, HSBC, could bring alone a volume which would easily bring us to $500. So don't tell me 5,000 isn't possible with way more. Is there any other question? Did I cover most of your... I need to quickly load something here. Richard, I mean, come on. This average presentation with a full mass adoption by 2025. That's 6 years from now. Okay? Usually a penetration of a market works like that. That the first 3-4 years you cover like 70 or 80%, and in the last 2 years only 10%, because that's usually the hard work to... I mean, when they talk about full mass adoption, they're talking about the fact that in 2025 you will be able to, as I mentioned before, to buy a coffee at Starbucks with Apple stock. That's mass adoption. But the banking system will be way earlier there, just for the payments from banks to banks. That'll happen in the next 2 years. And if you're talking about 80% by the end of 2020, 10% just won't cut it by the end of the year. It'll need to be more, 30 or 40%. So 10% is totally conservative. I'm pretty sure. Sorry about that. Alex Hero, well, those $110 and the 45 billion, yeah, there are people who think that. The problem they're doing in their logic is, on one hand, we don't have 45 billion XOP liquid. Like 20 billion is distributed for persons working at Ripple, and they're just not allowed to sell, or only little portions, less than 1% per day or so. So forget about half of those 45 billion. And then there's a lot of hodlers. Will you sell immediately? Like, let's say it goes to $20 and the bank needs to transact 50 million. Will you sell your XRP? I won't. I will wait until the price goes higher. The more people hodl, the higher the price will need to go. It's as simple as that. And QB48, yes, I feel totally safe on eToro. Totally. Really, no doubt about that. No, Shane Ellis has vanished basically about 2 or 3 weeks after I put out the summary of all his comments on that YouTube video from Rob Art. He vanished, he deleted his Twitter account and all his comments on that video. White Elephant, do you want to talk politics about me? I don't know if I want to answer that. I'm totally not progressive, neither in one direction. Usually I care for the weak, for the children and stuff like that, or elderly people. I think they need to be protected. But when it comes to market mechanics, I studied 20 years ago really economics, about 5 or 6 semesters. And what I learned there is market mechanics as such are most efficient and effective if they're at play. And I think we should liberalize, I don't know if I can say that, but make it more liberal that markets can play more easily. However, the problem with that is that we also need to take care of our nature, like forests and stuff and lakes, and then we need to somehow prohibit pollution and stuff like that, and that makes markets a bit less efficient because there is other constraints coming. So it depends. I cannot say right or left. I'm definitely more left than right. I'm totally not a racist, and I'm basically a person who is more open and more welcoming than kind of defending. If that's enough for you, White Elephant. David C. regarding Shane Ellis, yes, I have seen that as well. Joseph, but no, the XRP should basically detach from other prices. Kevin Patterson, well, that's funny, yeah. Every exchange, Giuseppe, every exchange will follow the price rise. Not every. Arbitrage won't happen, or very little of it. CSC Bain, IMF, I don't see. I mean, basically, Christine Lagarde told it quite clearly. XRP would need to be accepted, or any other digital assets for the matter, for the sake. How is it called? For the sake of the matter, whatever. You understand what I want to say. Would need to be adopted as a currency of a country, and as long as it's not, it will not be part of SDR. And anyway, SDRs may not be needed anymore in the future. I'm pretty sure in 20 years the whole money system will work totally different thanks to XRP and ILP. Veteran, yes, there are private ledgers, but not private XRP ledgers. Don't start it again. This makes me really angry. The private ledgers are the bank's ledgers where they keep account of your balance of the money you have in the bank. And those ones ILP will connect. That's a private ledger. Not one single Ripple official said there exists a private XRP ledger. That's the point. ILP will connect all private ledgers. That's the point. They just got confused on the name. They forget about that theory. Totally. Yes, Giuseppe, you can feel totally safe on eToro. Are you worried about how powerful and wealthy? No, Joseph, I'm not worried about how rich Ripple employees will get. I mean, they're freaking rich now already, and that's basically a really nice thing about Ripple. I experience Ripple, and that's maybe the last thing I say before we stop the live chat. Then slowly, I perceive the Ripple employees as, how do you say it, emotionally competent and total socially competent. They're not just about the money. They know they can improve the world by offering financial inclusion from weak economies. And no, I'm not feared. I'm not worried at all about. I could imagine well that they will be spending lots of their riches for helping poor areas. I will do that when I will get rich. I will spend, I don't know, 80% of my wealth on to help poor people in Africa and in Brazil, from where my wife is. Favorite meme? I have no idea. No, Summer R, I don't think there will be a way to set the price. The market will set the price. That's something most people don't get. We're in a market. The market will decide the price. That's I'm 100% sure of. Thank you, Kevin, for your being massive fan of my channel. Yeah, with this my battery is going low now. I hope the voice was better today. I hope the internet connection was better today, that there wasn't any lags when I was talking. And with that, I will tell everyone goodbye, and I thank everyone for your trust in me, for your, I don't know, thanks for being with me and bearing with me. Have a good time, everyone. Till next time.